Hello, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Happy Friday.
Welcome to
yeah.
Derailed.
Happy Friday. It's
It is
Friday.
Friday.
It's Friday. That's what we like to call
Friday?
it. Friday.
Is that
That's how we're going to start this Friday.
Is that,
yeah,
is
it
that
is.
how that's going?
Maybe we
I've
do
had-
need to take away your coffee.
No, you can't take my coffee away.
I needed
You
that kind
will
of energy when
die an ugly death if you take my coffee away.
Nice.
Not even going to lie.
I needed that kind of energy when
Did you?
when the day started. Yeah.
Yeah.
How's your day been?
Never mind.
crazy?
I'm kidding.
It's called, well, we won't say what it's called, but yeah.
How's my day been?
Adult coffee.
A little bit busy. It's been kind of busy today.
Yeah, it has for a Friday. Trying to get stuff
because
done.
I wasn't here.
Because
Because it's a
we get
football
lot of-
Friday. It is our
yeah.
first official football Friday, so Friday Night Football kicks
Right.
off on KLST tonight and Inside the Game on KSAN. So
Right. Have to
lots
make
of
sure.
busyness going on.
Yeah.
I haven't quite hit that yet, but I will at 2 o'clock.
Oh yeah. You're gonna be super busy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just trying to make sure that all the stuff that corporate sends goes up on the website.
Gets
the way they
posted
want
up to
it
the
to.
website the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, I was trying to get all my corporate reports done since I'll be leaving here in an hour to go with the Central football team, the broadcast crew. Obviously, we do the,
Oh, nice.
The broadcast with Foster Communications, Jay Michaels, and some newbies this year. Jeff Bright's joining us. Coach Schofield has retired from the broadcast, which is kind of crazy, but so we got a newbie
Coach
in the
Schofield.
booth with us. Yes, been around forever.
Yeah. I
So
believe.
we'll be doing the central broadcast from Killeen tonight. So hopefully the Bobcats will go down there and handle their business, and
Kick some butt.
we'll see.
kidding.
So, but
Nice.
leaving here in about an hour to start that little journey
How
because we got to
how
get
far is
there.
Killeen?
It's about 3 hours, but we got to get there and
Oh,
set up our
awesome.
booth and
okay.
and make sure that everything is good with our booth, and then we'll you know
Go
do the
for
game.
tours.
go to lunch or dinner or something.
Right.
Do the game, then come back late tomorrow morning.
Late.
Because we
Late
won't get
tomorrow
back
morning,
until like
yeah.
1. Because once the
Late.
game ends
It's-
around
I
10, then
mean-
we'll drive back. So
Yeah, I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
come back right away. It's
at least I don't have to drive. Jay always drives. It's nice.
Yeah, that's good.
So
That's
so
good.
I can semi look like I'm awake and asleep in the back at the same time.
Just go to sleep.
Yeah, I typically do.
Be like, hey, can you guys turn that up?
Yeah,
Try
and
to
we
try to
listen
take part in
like-
the conversation from the back seat.
It's like 60s on 6 on Sirius, so they like 60s music that we listen to all the
Oh,
way
man, wow.
to wherever. It's almost I wouldn't say painful, but
I mean, I'm sure it starts.
I
to
mean
get
some
that
of the
way.
60s
Just
music
at a
is okay,
certain
but
point.
after a while I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, we've got a few other decades to choose from.
Yeah. Welcome to Derailed, by the way.
Yeah, welcome, viewers, whoever you are.
I figured it out. Sorry.
What'd you figure out? The
How
watch
I had
started.
to
party.
start my watch party.
Shelby's trying to start a watch party so she can
As I'm like
see who
halfway
else
through.
joining.
Yeah.
No one.
You guys want to talk about some national days?
We can. Yeah.
All right, because I didn't have the time to look for any kind of interesting news story to talk about.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gosh.
It's all right.
So, today is Slinky Day.
Slinky
Oh,
Day.
Slinkies.
It is Slinky
August
Day.
30th is officially Slinky Day.
That's right.
I wish I had a Slinky to play with. I love those things.
But did you ever make them go downstairs? Because that was always fun.
Oh, that's
That's
the best part
sort
of
of
the
a
idea.
Slinky. Yeah.
I don't actually remember the jingle. What I remember is Ren and Stimpy's version
Slinky, Slinky. I don't remember
of
it
it.
all.
Yeah, yeah. It always makes me think of Ren and Stimpy because they did a promo called Log.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All kids love Log. Anyway, that little jingle has been heard by millions upon millions of people worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Catchy, and with a toy that is a staple from our own childhoods, the Slink. Hey, looks like
Hey.
these guys had a little typo.
Yeah.
Slinky is a Toy Hall of Fame superstar.
Maybe that's its nickname, the Slink.
The Slink.
You don't know that. I
It's-
mean, it could be
It's changed.
It could
Mm-hmm.
be.
They're just like, hey
Joke's on
man,
you.
Where-
Slinky Day.
where's that Slink?
I like that.
Man, did you bring that Slink?
That's great.
Wow.
I loved Slinkies when I was little.
Mhm.
Just loved them.
Yeah.
They
Good.
were simple, but
Let's see. What else is it today?
Frankenstein Day.
Frankenstein Day.
That's right. Let's look at this.
Now, what
What a
I want to
great
know
picture that
why
is.
August 30th is Frankenstein Day. Was that when the movie came out or was made?
my guess
or-
would be that this is when. How can I forget her name? This is when it was written, but maybe.
Right. Let's see. What's it say? History?
Uh,
Read away there.
History of Frankenstein Day. Despite the gloomy weather and almost horrific atmosphere, the experiment comes to life after a bolt of lightning is directed through the body of the stitched-together cadaver.
That's the story.
That is the story.
That's not the history of Frankenstein Day. Go up. See if it says it above it in that other
That
paragraph.
is weird.
That's junk.
I mean, it's the novel, so I guess
How to
that's what it is.
celebrate. How to celebrate Frankenstein Day. There we go.
Sit down and enjoy the Mary Shelley tale.
There you go. Now
So
you
it wants
remember
us to watch that
the
movie.
author.
A strong book with science
book.
fiction and horror aspects, along with some romance and action. Maybe sit and try to understand why the creature did what it did, and if you would have done the same thing.
Maybe if they'd installed a Slinky in him, he
I-
would have lasted
I mean,
longer.
he
Since
would-
it's Slinky Day and Frankenstein Day.
He would have just sort of...
Been like Go-Go Gadget Arms
He
or...
would have, right. Somebody just remakes the movie with a little bit of that Matrix.
Mm-hmm. Slinky Arm and Frankenstein.
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Today is
So-
also College Colors Day.
Well, yeah, because college football officially kicks off. I mean,
Today.
it already kind of did because they had the games
Yeah.
last night, whatnot. But the first Saturday, college game day on ESPN. It's
Yeah.
always my favorite on Saturday mornings. Get up and watch those guys wherever they are. I think they're actually in Fort Worth tomorrow.
Really?
I want to say that college game day's in Fort Worth. I can't remember. I know they're going to be there pretty soon in
Yeah.
Sundance Square. It's always fun. If you've never been to an ESPN college game day where they're doing the broadcast live,
Right.
you should go.
Oh.
I remember
Tons of people.
my mom took us to a UT game once, and they had the whole
sorry.
setup.
Just kidding.
Yeah, whatever. They took us to the whole thing, and we watched them do their little newscast and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That was back when I didn't want to do news, so
And look where you are now.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Look where I am.
Doing the news.
So it says here, I can actually cut to that.
Yeah, why don't you take to that?
Founded by the College Licensing Company in 2004, College Colors... That's a weird
College
sentence.
Colors Day.
I know, yeah, College Colors Day.
It's almost
Say that 3
alliteration.
times.
I know,
fast.
I just don't understand why
Almost
why
alliteration.
I don't understand why they've separated this by commas. Anyway, fans have worn the apparel of their favorite college or university throughout the day. College Colors Day is celebrated by thousands of organizations, classrooms, and millions of individuals who don their team colors and share their school spirit with friends and colleagues. Nice.
All right.
We also have
What's the other one? Yeah, there was something. There's another good one down there. Toasted Marshmallow Day.
You guys like toasted marshmallows?
On s'mores.
I will.
Not by themselves?
Toasted marshmallows are fantastic.
I
Come
think they're
on.
pretty great.
Guess.
They have to,
Especially
they have
if
to
you
sort
like.
of be...
Do them perfectly?
No,
I
they need to be a
kinda
little
like 'em,
burnt.
Yeah.
A little crispy,
You
something.
Get a little bit of that
A little
caramelized
more
sugar on the
toast than more toast than the most.
I've never had good luck toasting marshmallows. They've always been,
Well, they
Way
fall in the fire for
overly-
you, or what?
yeah.
Off your
They-
stick?
Yeah, they
It's because
really.
it's because you're probably kind of a pyromaniac.
Okay,
When
well.
you stick them in the
I
fire
mean,
and they catch.
you do work for a
He's like,
volunteer
"This
fire
is
department,
fun."
right? So.
I do. You just kind of
That was always my problem. Is
Uh-huh.
I would let them catch on fire. And
So my
then
buddy
they would end
Dwayne, he said, put the mallow on the gram, line from the Sandlot,
up- Oh,
as they're
nice.
making s'mores. Yeah,
Nice.
nice Dwayne. Mhm.
Going back to Frankenstein Day, Tammy Corder Brown says Frankenstein Chronicles on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
I've only actually seen the first episode or two of that, and I'm sure that no matter what else happens in that show, Sean Bean is going to die.
spoiler alert.
He dies in
Hashtag
everything.
spoiler.
He dies in everything.
He dies in everything.
Yeah.
There's not a thing he's been in that he hasn't died.
No.
There's probably something, and it is Grief Awareness Day.
Oh.
Let's be serious for a second.
No.
This is like
Sometimes.
Oh, and we all got
silence.
quiet.
Yeah, we did, right? Sometimes even the brightest of days can be dark when the difficulties of life rear their ugly heads. But there is a silver lining to this. There are those that are willing to help us through these darker days.
That's us here on Derailed.
That's right.
If you'll tune in every day at 11, we will help you through your grief.
We're willing to.
Or we'll cause more.
I was gonna
One
say,
of the two.
We're
So,
more than willing to compound your grief.
Yeah.
Depends
yeah.
on the day.
But it's National Day today. And
That's
then what was
right.
the other one? Holistic
Holistic
Pet Day?
You gotta love your whole pet.
Okay.
Um,
Was set up to try to bring more publicity to the idea that holistic treatments where a pet's lifestyle, diet, and environment are fully considered are more beneficial.
nice. Using holistic treatments is said to improve nutrition, increase your pet's energy, and even cure some chronic conditions. I guess that
Okay.
makes sense.
Sure.
I mean, If you're not just like, hey,
I'm gonna stick with Toasted Marshmallow Day
Toasted
and
Marshmallow
College
Day.
Colors Day. Those are gonna be my two favorites right there for today.
That's probably
And Slinky Day.
Yeah, Slinky Day is my top
Slinky
one.
Day is pretty great.
I think I'm gonna have to go buy one now.
I don't remember any of the other ones that I just read. So
No. Now, can you still purchase Slinkies?
Yeah, at Walmart.
Good ones, metal ones,
Yes.
not the cheap plastic
They're
ones.
I don't know.
I
metal.
was so mad when they did that
When they
to the
made-
Slinky back in the day. Change it to plastic.
Yeah, I remember.
because the people it's metal. You'll get hurt.
I mean,
you get hurt with plastic too.
And I know.
especially
it
when it gets all
breaks.
tangled up.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And in
So.
10,000 years, when somebody comes across a plastic Slinky,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be like, "What on earth?
Maybe we should
What
do
was this society up to?"
Maybe we should do a time capsule here in the news station, like out in the
With-
backyard.
with stuff
I
from
don't know,
today?
with news stuff.
Just
I mean,
put
we have
everybody's-
enough old equipment around here.
Just stick everybody's phone in
Everything
a
out of
time
my
capsule
truck.
and
Yeah.
see what.
Well, speaking of that, remember we have those old phones back there from
Oh,
the
yeah, that's
station that we
right.
talked and the pagers.
Yeah. I saw on a Facebook group that there was a station that they had kept one of each of all of their old cameras.
Oh, really?
And
So
they
they
had
had
a
just
little-
lined up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They had a little
Display.
exhibition.
that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That'd be
That is
fun.
pretty cool.
We probably Leonard Martinez, our chief engineer, probably has everything out in the store
He's got
room.
I mean,
I know I have several tapes. I have an old 3/4 inch tape in my office, as well as a Betacam tape, which Shelby has no clue what those are. at all.
Betamax.
Yeah.
No, there's
Baymax. She's thinking of Big Hero 6 right now.
No. I watched that movie like once. Okay.
I watched it once. I really enjoyed it.
I
was
like
a
the
good
movie. I've
movie.
seen it a couple
I've seen it
times
a
actually.
Yeah, that was fun. Fun
Yeah.
movie.
All right. So those are all our national days.
That's right.
Live
Fun.
van. Dwayne, he's mentioning our live truck. We were talking about it earlier today and
Yeah.
how lovely our live trucks are.
Oh man.
They're fun to drive.
Yeah, with your feet outside of them like the Flintstones.
Yeah.
The hole in the floor.
That's what it feels like to try to
Mhm.
stop them. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we
Ooh.
got a new live truck
Yeah.
there, corporate guys.
Not
If
dangerous.
you're
at all.
watching.
They're like, we
Jeff
want-
made it seem like it was like some really bad thing to drive.
The live truck?
Yeah, it wasn't that
I mean,
Feels a
no.
little dangerous.
You just,
bad.
yeah.
I've been in worse.
You've been worse. Wow. You're spoken like a true Jeeper right
That's
there.
right. Yeah.
You do have a
That's
Jeep.
funny.
So.
I do.
Mhm.
Didn't drive it to work today though.
Oh. All right.
Moving on.
U.S. astronaut Guion S. Bluford Jr. became on this day in 1983 the first African American to travel into space,
Wow.
serving as a mission specialist aboard the shuttle orbiter Challenger, and later flew on to 3 other missions.
Which wasn't it the Challenger that exploded?
I guess it must have been.
I
Yeah,
wanted to
that's
say,
right.
but it wasn't.
That was.
I
mean,
don't think it was this mission. Obviously,
no,
I think
this
it was a later
he
mission.
went in 1983.
Yeah.
and,
So I was trying to think of when that was.
86.
86. That's right. Yeah. Because
remember.
I was my freshman year in
Yeah.
high school, or
Yeah, I was in
I had junior high, so
I was
it wasn't
elementary school,
right.
and the teachers had wheeled in the TV and everything.
Hmm. Oh yeah, on the
Or,
big media cart
Oh yeah.
that had the VHS player and,
And the TV
everything
had to be
else.
like strapped onto it.
Yes.
Hey, we had some of those.
You guys.
I'm
of
not
course.
that young.
Oh yes, you are. You're
Yeah.
a baby. Uh huh. Do you know what a VHS is? Have you
Yes,
seen
I
one?
actually I have a bunch of them.
She's got
Disney
VHS.
Do
ones.
you have anything that plays
Ye-
a V?
Well, okay, I did. I broke it actually because I got mad at it.
I still have.
See,
I
that's
still have
actually
a-
that's actually lines
I
up
have
with
a
the way
VCR.
VHS players.
I still have a VCR and a DVD player.
Yeah.
It's in my garage. It's not hooked up to anything, but
Were
they
you-
both still work. So
Yeah.
I
So you
just
got mad at
beat
your
it
VHS player. and
Yeah,
broke
it wasn't working.
Were you trying to program the remote?
No. No, actually, I was trying to get to
Oh, wow.
rewind and it like started to catch, and it just wouldn't go, and I got mad, so I beat it.
Yeah.
It happens.
don't
alright?
tell me stuff like that. If you get mad at equipment, if
I
you
don't-
hit
no,
one
I
of my
don't.
cameras, Shelby.
Yeah. You can't treat antiques like that.
No, I.
Oh, don't look at me when you say antique,
Ah.
sir.
All right.
I will
so
be offended.
I think we're about to get to the bottom of Frankenstein Day.
Oh, are we?
Are we? Okay.
Today, born in 1797, Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley.
Ah,
There we go.
that's why it's
Author of
Frankenstein,
Frankenstein.
Day. It's the day that she was born.
And
see?
has anybody here ever actually read the novel?
The
No.
novel of Frankenstein? No.
Yeah.
No.
That is.
Why would I
It's
read?
very,
that would
very,
be informing
very
myself.
different. Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
It's really different than most of the movies, except for the one with Robert De Niro. That one is pretty similar to the book.
Okay. De Niro?
Yeah, he played the Frankenstein monster in
Really?
like, the late 90s or early 2000s.
Okay.
It was not long after the adaptation of Dracula that came out in the 90s.
I
Yeah.
did not know De Niro ever did that. Okay.
Born on this day, Alexander Lukashenko, President of Belarus.
See, I got really excited when you said Alexander.
Who were you
Or
thinking?
Hamilton.
Oh.
But that
Yeah,
didn't go
no.
there.
No, that was not it.
Darn.
Warren Buffett, American
Mm.
businessman and philanthropist.
He's
Who-
got some cash.
Yeah, and a lot of advice, usually.
Yes, he does.
Fred McMurray, American
Oh,
actor.
Fred McMurray.
I don't actually.
That's from my childhood. Fred McMurray
Well, he was-
played.
he was
I want
born
to
in-
say he was the lead actor in My Three Sons
Oh,
back in the day, if I remember correctly. So
let's see. Movies like Take a Letter, Darling, No Time for Love, The Egg and I. Let's see.
dun, dun, dun. Yeah, it is. There it is at the bottom.
Yep. Shaggy Dog,
Long-running television
Absent-Minded.
series My Three Sons from 1960 to 72.
So he was in a lot of stuff from
Yeah.
The Shaggy Dog, Absent-Minded Professor, Son of Flubber, and My Three Sons.
Nice.
Oh, see, there's his picture.
Nice GIF there.
Nice. Did you say GIF?
Yeah. My friend Dwayne. He's
Oh.
posting up a Frankenstein with Will Ferrell.
Oh,
That's Frankenstein. And then
I'm
he's,
sure Will Ferrell
he's
was
busting
a
out the
funny-
Fred McMurray stuff. He's got the Shaggy Dog on there, which he played in the movie, and then the Love Bug. He was in
Oh, yeah.
Herbie the Love Bug,
Yeah.
so he's throwing all those up in the
Good friends.
notes there. So comments section.
In 1893, Huey Long was born. He was an American politician who I don't remember.
I don't know if I know him.
You remember who he was?
Something you don't know?
I don't know a lot. Trust me.
Yeah, he was.
That's Jeff.
They
He'll
even
tell
say
you.
it here. Flamboyant.
Oh, that's not Will Ferrell. That's right. That's the other guy. All right. Thanks, Dwayne. Thanks for correcting me. It's like my wife's on here.
Oh, Lord.
Huey P. Long, flamboyant and demagogic governor of Louisiana and U.S. senator whose social reforms and radical welfare proposals, man, I almost didn't get welfare out,
Yeah.
were ultimately overshadowed by the unprecedented executive dictatorship that he perpetrated to ensure control of his home state. Huey P. Long.
Okay.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. And I guess I've got one more. Ernest Rutherford, British physicist. Should we read about... Did he come up with something interesting?
I have no idea.
Born in
I'm too young to
1871.
know.
Yeah, well, me too. Let's see.
What did he do? Anything worthwhile? He won the Nobel Prize for chemistry.
Considered the greatest experimentalist since Michael Faraday, Rutherford was the central figure in the study of radioactivity. And with his concept of the nuclear atom, he left the exploration of nuclear physics. Or he left. That's pretty incredible, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Of course he won a Nobel Prize.
Ernest Rutherford.
Thanks for almost destroying all of us, Ernest.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah.
All right. What other?
What
Let's
else do we
see.
have?
More events on this day.
In 2015, British neurologist and writer Oliver Sacks, who won acclaim for his sympathetic case histories of patients with unusual neurological disorders, died in New York
Oh.
at age 82.
in honor of Cody Brown.
Died.
He always tells us about the deaths.
Yeah, well, they don't, they just list the deaths under more events.
I know,
So,
so
they just sort of show up.
That's where they are. How about that one?
American
Charles
actor
Bronson.
Charles Bronson, who was best known for his portrayal of tough guys, notably an architect turned vigilante in Death Wish, died.
On this day. Now, this is a great one. In 1993, I knew about this. This is when The Late Show with David Letterman actually debuted
Really?
on this date in history.
That's pretty
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
He, that's because he was on a different show on a different network before 1993, right?
He was a weatherman.
I thought that he had a talk show in the late 80s.
I don't know if that's
Oh, here
true
it
or
is,
not.
actually. Late Show with David Letterman.
because he was on late night
Right,
on NBC, but this was
From
CBS's
82 to
version.
93.
Right.
right.
You were correct.
That's cool. 1905. American baseball player Ty Cobb, who became one of the game's greatest offensive players and one of its fiercest competitors, made his major league debut with the Detroit Tigers.
Congrats.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sure
Congratulations, Ty.
Sure, he wished he was traded.
Good job. In 1862, during the American Civil War, the Second Battle of Bull Run ended with a decisive Confederate victory.
I bet my buddy Dwayne, his wife Sabrina, she's a huge history buff. She probably knew that.
She was probably like...
She'd probably been like,
just
this
been
day in
waiting
history
for
should
you
have been
guys
that.
She's been waiting for you guys to get to that. 1813. During the Creek War, some 250 frontiersmen were killed by the Red Sticks, a Native American faction, in what became known as the Fort Mims Massacre. And in retaliation, a militia led by General Andrew Jackson later destroyed 2 Indian villages. It's okay. Andrew Jackson didn't turn out to amount to much, did he?
I don't remember learning that in school.
I don't think that was one of the things.
The Creek War?
Yeah.
I don't think that the Creek War was probably one of the bigger ones that
they taught in history class.
About.
They did teach that Andrew Jackson became the president.
Yes, they did. They do teach that.
Well,
any other good ones there, or is that at the bottom of the list there?
Well, 1282.
That's a
the
long
Aragonese
time ago.
landed at Trapani in support of the Sicilian revolt against Charles I, Avignon, King of Naples, Sicily, which had begun with the Sicilian Vespers, a massacre of the French. And you start getting into Middle Ages, things like
this day in
War of
history.
the Roses and stuff like that. Boy, people were mean.
Yeah, they were.
People did bad things to each other.
They didn't care back then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they just had long to be on the planet, so they were just like, let's take care of it.
Do it anyways.
Yeah, so that's what we've got going on in history.
All right.
Yeah. We haven't picked out a top 10.
We haven't. No.
So some of our suggestions were books, video games, and a continuation of the animated shows list that goes with shows past 2000.
I think if we do video games on this day without Cody Brown here,
He'll be pretty
he
upset.
might shoot us all.
Yeah.
So
Not me. I didn't vote for this.
only
what
if
do
you decide
suggest?
that we do it.
Do you
So
have
first of all,
suggestions?
for those who don't know, welcome to Derailed if you are watching, and this is Shelbie Hunt, and this is your first time on with us.
Yes, it
So Shelbie, first of all, kind of tell everybody about yourself there.
Well.
And how you got started here.
So it's actually.
She wandered in.
I really did.
Off the street.
Well, not really. You called me.
I did. Yeah. She applied.
So, I'm actually 19. I graduated Actually, it's been just
A little over a year
yeah.
now. Mm-hmm.
I worked at a dog kennel before this, and I didn't want to do that anymore. And I wanted to be a photographer, like still photography. And I saw the job application for here.
For a news photographer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I didn't really think much about it. Like, oh yeah, news photographer, that would be cool. And so I just applied and got lucky.
It worked.
Yeah, we gave her the opportunity to come on board, and she's done really well for us. So
she's
learning how to actually be a good news photographer. So.
I mean, we've had bad ones.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I would like to think I'm pretty good. But jeez,
You are.
You're good.
hurt my heart.
Shelbie does a great job.
She does. She does a great job for us.
Yeah.
If not, I would have fired her already.
Good to
And look,
know.
we're still here.
Good to know. And now I'm on Derailed. So
That's right.
Fun stuff.
How about we look up top 10 lists? No.
Top 10 list?
Yeah.
What's on the top 10? Top 10
I like that.
list?
So, let's see. Yesterday we did the top 10 Matthew McConaughey movies
That's
in
right.
honor of
Him becoming,
Professor McConaughey
Yes.
That's right.
being added to the faculty at the University of Texas.
Yeah.
Here's, for me, this is what I would prefer that we do for a top 10 list today because it is the first night for Friday Night Football.
Oh, nice.
So, top 10 high school football stadiums in the state of Texas.
I feel like this is going to be very biased.
I'm not going to be able to contribute much, but I can go
I know,
by
but
pictures.
you can look there, and there was a top 10 list that was put out not too long ago about high school football stadiums that hold the most people.
Oh, really?
Which San Angelo Stadium actually ranks in the top 10 for capacity.
How cool.
Because it is a very large high school football stadium. There are other ones like Allen High School up around the Metroplex that has, it's huge. They just built that thing not too long ago. And the crazy thing about that, right after they built it, just I'd say a year or two after it was built, maybe not even that long, they started having foundation problems. And it started cracking in the
It's
concrete.
too big.
And it was crazy. So they had to come back in and redo a lot of stuff on that stadium up there. But there are some pretty magnificent high school football stadiums in the state of Texas.
Well, I can go by this list. This is the size.
Okay.
We can start looking at them.
We can do that. Go
All
down
right.
the roll here. Top 10 high school football stadiums. Capacity.
Right.
Okay.
Capacity stadium.
Burger Stadium in Austin, 15,000.
Wow.
Lord.
See, that is, it's named for their coach, right?
Built in 1975, the Tony Berger Activity Center and Stadium is the home field of 4 high schools in the Austin Independent School District. Named for celebrated Austin High School coach Elton Tony Coach Berger. The Tony Berger Activity Center and Stadium was christened 2 years after it opened.
So
What was it called?
does
for the
it,
first
does it
2
say,
years?
it doesn't say how many, does it say the capacity up at the top? Go scroll
Yeah,
back
15
up to the top.
15,000?
So 15,000. So
Yeah.
a lot
That's
of folks.
that's a lot of students and
Yeah.
family members.
Just wait.
I mean, that's
wait.
number 10.
I know.
Yeah, we're getting...
I think it's bigger. I want to say I've looked at one of these before and was very surprised by.
How many
Yeah.
people actually can go to a stadium
And
like
I
that?
remember
Wow.
seeing one where
For high school football.
San Angelo Stadium, Central Stadium was on there for
Yeah.
one of them. I don't remember for what, but
Yeah.
I mean,
And
it
was
I
pretty
bet it
nice
makes
to
this
see.
list as well.
High school
so
football is religion.
in Texas, for
Yeah.
sure.
especially
it really is.
West Texas.
Yeah.
We're big on it. Stallworth Stadium in Baytown, 16,500.
The capacity there. So, and don't give it away too much.
Okay.
Oh.
There
Jeez.
you go. All
Built in
right.
1969, Stallworth Stadium in Baytown, Texas is the largest high school stadium in the Houston area. Home to 3 high schools in the Goose Creek Consolidated Independent School District, Stallworth can seat over 16,000 fans. That last part, Goose Creek Consolidated Independent School District, that was kind of a lot.
The GCCI.
Almost as many words as the school has
Could you
capacity.
imagine if you had to say that all the time? You know, like, because obviously with our newscasters, we talk about the San Angelo ISD all the time, so
Right.
it's the SAISD. But if you had to say the GCCI,
Tongue twister.
Every time I see Houston, I think of when I moved to Georgia. I worked with a guy, and I didn't know that there was a street in New York that's spelled Houston,
there's lots of streets in New York.
but it's
oh,
pronounced
Houston,
Houston.
Houston, really?
Houston?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the first time I heard it, I said,
No, that's Houston.
"That's stupid." Until somebody pointed out to me that street existed
Before the city
Before.
of Houston.
and
Mhm.
probably Sam
Oh.
Houston. So,
Interesting.
yeah. All right. The one that I gave spoilers away for. San Angelo Stadium in San
Ooh,
Angelo.
oh, that's such a big picture.
17,500 capacity. That's a large stadium.
No,
Yes, and that's what it looks like typically on a Friday night.
That's
Well,
right.
recently it's
because
been
the
a lot
heavens appear to be opening
more.
up.
Yeah, because the overflow is just crazy.
Have y'all ever? I'm sure you have, David. But Jeff, have you ever been to a the Central football game on
No.
Friday night?
No.
No, you should. It's great.
Should go to experience it at least one time. Jeff.
I should.
So,
I'm sure it's a
Don't
huge
go this
amount of
Friday
energy.
because Central's not there. Lakeview's playing,
Lakeview's
but
playing.
there will be, and they usually have a good crowd for Lakeview games as well. Lakeview and Lamesa play at San Angelo Stadium tonight, so
Okay.
obviously Lakeview a little smaller school, so not as many
Yeah.
students there and families,
Right.
so it doesn't get as full as the Central games do. But I guess it was 3 years ago when Central played Allen in the
Okay.
playoffs. It
Yep.
was crazy atmosphere at
And-
that game, and it
Wow.
was just completely sold out. So the line went for entry into the stadium. It took a long time to get everybody in there. So they finally they opened the gate 30 minutes earlier than they originally were going to, just to try and get people in and seated before the game actually kicked off. So
Well, that makes sense. I mean, people can't just appear in the stands.
Yeah. Was that also the game where they did that crazy catch? in
yes,
the- oh,
yeah, we're
that went
Is
viral.
Is that a famous catch?
it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
one-handed catch that
Uh-oh.
the Central receiver Adam West made.
Adam West.
That's his
Adam
name,
West,
and he now
yeah.
plays for Harvard University. He went on to go to Harvard and plays football for them. And so Adam West, one-handed catch, do that, and you'll find the video. There it is, right there.
Yep.
So you might even hear me because I was doing the broadcast there
Really?
as well.
Well, I've got the audio.
That's
down,
Cal
so-
Vincent, the quarterback right there, and this is one of the first drives I believe for Central, if I remember correctly. Goes up,
Oh.
one hands it, and
That's,
into the
that's
end
an
zone,
impressive catch right there.
and it was crazy night that night.
Yeah. Look at that stadium.
Yeah, it was insane, but great catch from that, and
Wow. Nice.
unfortunately Central went on to lose that game to Allen and get eliminated from the playoffs that year. But
I hear Central's got a pretty good team right now.
they are looking good again. I mean, Coach Davis and the Central staff has done such a really great job over their tenure. I think this is 10th year here now.
Yeah.
To find players to plug into the right places all the time, even though you may not have like that group. that senior class there, with Cal Vincent and Adam West and Tommy H., there was a good group of players on both sides of the ball, and they were a pretty phenomenal team. And unfortunately, Cal got hurt in that game. He got a concussion, and they had to put Maverick McIver in, who came in as a sophomore, I believe, in that game. He was a sophomore in a playoff game. Hadn't played yet. He had just transferred here.
I know that.
And now Maverick has gone on to Texas Tech.
Right.
Unfortunately, got injured in their scrimmage. He was really fighting for the backup quarterback position at Tech this year.
Since moving back, his name is the one that I've heard.
Yeah, McIver. Yeah, because McIver took over right after Vincent, and so his junior and senior year, he was the field general, and so really great kids. But Coach Davis has always found those players, and they develop them into really good players and team players. They all take on their roles. It's not about one or the other.
Right.
And like with Malachi Brown, who's the quarterback now, who took over last year as a sophomore. He's going to be here 2 years, junior and senior year, as a quarterback, and so he should be doing really well for us this year. And then there's a new tailback. He's not new. He was actually one of the players who just didn't blossom. Sometimes some kids don't come around as fast as others. This kid's been on the B team, basically, of the JV the last couple of years.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, over this summer, it clicked. And now he's the starting running back for Central this year.
That's the way some things go.
Yeah. But San Angelo Stadium, one of the bigger ones, 17,500 capacity.
And I've got a question from my brother JC. Do they still do the bonfire at the stadium?
No, the bonfire. No. Well, the ASU bonfire.
Yeah.
I'm assuming is what he's talking about. For Angelo State, it got moved over by Foster Field, which is where the Angelo State baseball team plays. They do it in that field out beside there.
Yeah.
Okay. But it used to be close for ASU for their homecoming.
They used to do it right where the rehab center, the West Texas Rehab Center, used to be. Because I remember one game when I was a band kid when I went to Central for 2 years. And we had gone for a game one night, and we saw the fire, and we were like, what the heck is that? And then it clicked. Well, I mean, there are buildings over there. It could have been a house fire. We just were like, what the heck? And then it clicked. Oh, ASU. Just kidding.
Right.
Bonfire.
So let's read this real fast.
Okay.
Stuck out in the middle of 3 different interstates.
With none running through the city. No. Can we say that now?
Not yet. Give it 20 years.
Yeah.
The isolation of the town of San Angelo may cause you to mistake it for a small town. But small town it is not.
That sounds like almost Yoda-esque there.
But small town... Oh,
but small town it is not.
That's because I added town like a crazy person. That's why. But small it is not.
Oh.
The city... The city is home to almost 100,000 residents and 3 high schools, all of which call the San Angelo Stadium home. The stadium was built in 1956 and was one of the first horseshoe-shaped stadiums built in Texas.
Which is a lie. All 3 high schools do not call San Angelo Stadium home. Which school?
TLCA does not.
No. It said 3 high schools, did it not?
It did.
Yeah. There's not. And I'm assuming that they're either, speaking of TLCA or Wall, I mean, who else are they talking about? Lakeview and Central call San Angelo Stadium home.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know of another high school in San Angelo that calls it that. I've lived here 22 years. So, and I mean, Lakeview didn't even call that home, until recently.
Right.
And they moved them from their stadium over there. And some Lakeview alum have issue with that they moved them over there because a lot of my friends that have lived in San Angelo all their lives, that is Bobcat Stadium is what they call it still to this day.
Right.
And I'm like, no, it's San Angelo Stadium. No, not to us. It's Bobcat. And that's the whole political side of school and all that. But
well, Lakeview is, I mean, some people in San Angelo really do identify with the side of town there.
Right,
definitely. And Lakeview people especially, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't know the area, don't ask for directions, because you'll get told things like, oh yeah, it's side of the Bobcat Stadium, and they're like, what is that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's still dubbed that way is Old Bobcat, which is out here on the north end of town where the soccer teams play.
By my house.
Yeah.
So I just got a text message from our reporter, Amanda Lozano. She was going to interview someone who was announcing their candidacy for, I guess, representative.
Oh, for Congress?
I think so.
Or running against Drew Darby.
Running against...
Congressman Conaway?
I think, for that seat.
Yeah, for his vacated seat now. So
she was looking all day because he said, just meet me at Richardson Park. And we were looking at the maps and we were like, Richardson Park?
Right.
Because sometimes, sections of Rio Concho Park are
Mm-hmm.
named a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Talking about
Yeah. So
directions in San Angelo.
And it doesn't show up on maps. So she just texted me. She said it was Richardson Park in Brady.
So, which Brady does fall into the congressional district.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
if they are running for that congressional seat, they could do their announcement there. So,
That's
we
right.
had a couple of people announced out of the Midland, 2 or 3.
I think so, yeah. I
Yeah,
think we
and
got-
then,
So now that's what, 3, 4 people?
well, and you've got the one guy that announced here in town over at the county,
Wasey,
Cody,
Oh,
yes,
Wasey
and
Cody?
then this gentleman.
right?
So, I mean, obviously Congressman Conaway has been in that position
It's
for a
long
while.
time. Yeah.
So there's a lot of folks that are throwing their hat in the ring,
Certainly.
see if they can fill his shoes. Which for me, as not to get into politics and talking all that, but those are some big shoes to fill
Right.
with
Yeah.
Well, when
Congressman Conaway.
When you've
So,
got a long tenure, it's hard to just... That
mean-
sort of thing doesn't just switch over.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously his constituents and the people in this congressional district
Right.
have appreciated what he has done over
Right.
the years. So
And I think the longer that somebody's in Congress, the more that they're able to do.
sure. Oh yeah.
So a new person going into Congress is not going to have nearly the same amount of power.
No.
So,
And just because you don't know until you get in that office, that's always the
Right.
hard thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I used to give my news director a hard time about decisions that she would make when I was just an anchor here. And now that I'm in that office, I understand why
Right.
the
It's
other
a-
things that come into play and
It's a whole
and why
different
it's
thing.
tough to sometimes make a decision that everybody wants, and you may want it too, but there's other things that factor in.
Yeah.
Right.
So
all right, back to stadiums.
yes, top 10 high school stadiums.
Ratliff Stadium in Odessa.
Boo! Oh, sorry.
17,900.
Wait, you have to boo Odessa.
You have
if
to.
you live in
It's-
San Angelo. I mean,
It's
even though they're not in our district anymore.
So when I was
We
when
went
I was
down.
in high school, Central didn't have that good of a team,
Right.
and we always said that we had a rivalry with the Permian Panthers.
Sure.
But I don't think the Permian Panthers had so much a rivalry with us.
Because they came and
They
beat
just-
us all the
They
time.
just-
Yeah.
And then I remember when Friday Night Lights came out. Everybody knew Permian.
Oh, yeah.
Now, have you seen that movie? You said you hadn't watched
I've
Friday
not.
Night Lights, but you've never seen the movie.
Never seen
Which
it.
it's kind of crazy because that was my junior year in high school.
Yeah.
When that movie came out.
Oh.
I mean, I remember Bowie Miles and that team out there. Yeah, they were pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
crazy.
So,
They beat us a lot.
And then
we were on the other side. We were actually,
That's good. I didn't know.
I think we were in that bracket that year. It was my junior year. So we played Denton, I think, who eventually either lost to Duncanville, who Permian played
Oh.
in that final game. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look. But we lost in the area round 14-13. We lost on penetrations because we had to go for 2. We knew that we were going to lose the game. If we tied the game, then we would have lost because they had penetrated into our offensive side of
Oh,
their
right,
offensive side of the
right.
field more times than we had. And so that was with a tiebreaker back in '88.
Wow.
As opposed to the way they do it now. So
Yeah.
So, due to the popularity of the movie and television show Friday Night Lights, most Americans are aware of the fervency of football in Odessa, Texas. The home stadium to the Odessa Broncos and the Permian Panthers, Ratliff Stadium was built in 1982 and lost about 1,500 seats after a renovation in the early 2000s, which cleaned up the turf and brought the stadium into compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act.
I remember it was my sister's, I think, either her senior year or junior year at Richland. She went to my rival high school. I did not follow her to high school. I went to another school in our district, and they came out to play the Midland Lee Rebels, and I think they actually played it at Ratliff as opposed to Midland Lee Stadium at that
Oh,
time.
okay.
Because I remember they flew the band. My sister was in the band, and so they flew them out, which was kind of crazy to fly to a college football game. So
Central took us 3 years ago. It was my last year, so my sophomore year. So yeah, 3 years ago, they flew us to Florida to play in the Orange Bowl.
That's right.
Wow.
With a bunch of other bands. It was super cool, but
I bet
yeah.
it was.
Speaking of fine bands, but anyways.
All right, number 6. Buccaneer Stadium in Corpus Christi. 18,000.
Gosh.
Right?
Man, oh man.
That's a lot of people. Corpus Christi Buccaneer Stadium was built in 1938 and can hold over 18,000 football fans on any given Friday night in the fall. I guess it just doesn't hold them like that in spring.
I sort of say, if it was built in 1938, I don't know if I want to be in the stands with the other 17,099.
From the picture, it looks like it's mostly concrete.
Yeah.
The home field of Roy Miller High School, Buccaneer Stadium once hosted a 1997 playoff game between Cal Allen. Is that how you
Yeah,
pronounce
Cal
it?
Allen.
Cal Allen
And Lamarck.
and Lamarque. Lamarck.
Yeah. Boy, you're having a hard time with this today.
I know. Lamarck. All right, yeah. It's just that I'm not familiar with those names.
Mm-hmm.
That drew over 23,000 fans.
Jeez.
I like to put Jeff out of his comfort zone. That's
For
what
that?
I did.
Yeah,
That's why I did
I mean-
high school football stadiums for the top 10 today, because Jeff's not the sports guy.
No.
He's a reader,
And there are some.
and that's why I like Jeff being on the show as well, because it expands my horizons. I'm
Yeah.
trying to expand his a little.
It's
So
definitely helping. And there are names of towns in Texas that are just difficult.
ask our weather
Yeah.
guys.
Well, every
that
time
move
that I-
here from nowhere,
I
and they're
know
like,
every time that I
what?
would- when I was still working in production, and sports would come up, and I started reading the prompter when I was directing,
Right.
and they would say refurio,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd say that is not the word that is on the prompter.
That is exactly the word that's on the prompter.
All right,
That should be y'all's next top 10.
Oh, and there it is.
number
that
5,
one. Mm-hmm.
Allen Eagle Stadium in Allen, also 18,000 capacity. But
Yeah.
goodness, that looks
It's
new.
newer. That's why.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, I think this tells about after it opened.
Wow. The Allen Eagle Stadium cost around $59.6 million to build and opened in 2012. At the time of its opening, the stadium boasted a jumbotron and concessions that offered Chick-fil-A and Texas barbecue, among other amenities not normally found at high school football games. Yeah, I think
And that's
Yeah,
why
there's not
no
many
football
Chick-fil-A booths at the
Chick-fil-A
malls.
and-
Now, we actually have Chick-fil-A that they bring in, and you can buy right as you
Yes.
walk in the.
Right.
They pop up their little pop-up tent, but this was an actual, I think, Chick-fil-A
They actually
in
have the
Allen.
Chick-fil-A
They had
inside
an
of it.
area in the concessions.
and
That's why they
I mean,
don't
it's-
do
it's-
Sunday football.
it is high school football in Texas, so I'm assuming no beer concessions.
No,
Right.
that's in the parking lot. Oh, what?
See, I mean,
Don't
and
tell the
everywhere else in
secrets.
Texas, that's where the Chick-fil-A is.
Yeah, but the next line right there, that talks about, I was talking about the structural damage that they had.
Oh, within 18 months of the stadium's debut, cracks and major structural faults were found all throughout the stadium, and it was subsequently closed in February 2014. The architectural firm that originally built the stadium funded its repairs, and it reopened in May 2015, just in time to host graduation.
Yeah,
Wow.
so.
I'm glad they caught it.
Yeah, before there was a disaster
Before
of
there
some
were
sort.
18,000 people sitting there,
Uh-huh.
and it was a surprise.
Yeah, because Allen football, they've been really good now for a long time. I think that's what helped build their stadium and everything,
Yeah.
their football
Yeah.
program. That's the crazy thing too, is that Texas football funds so much
It does,
for
yeah.
the school districts, just because everybody loves to go watch their football on Friday night.
Right,
Yeah.
it makes the money.
Yeah.
I mean, everything else, especially San Angelo, everything closes, so you have nothing else to do.
Or like Wall last night playing Mason.
Oh, yeah.
In Mason. The city of Wall, I don't think there was one person out there. There might have been a dog or a cat that were tied up in the backyard, but other than that,
Right.
there were no people in Wall.
No.
Which
last
I
night.
heard that was a very good game to be at, so.
If you're a Wall fan, if you're a Mason fan, and, I was a little disappointed in the Mason fans last night. Some of them left
Really?
late in the game. At half, Wall was up 27-0, and Mason's they hadn't lost in the Puncher Dome, which is
Right.
their stadium, I think since like 2009. I mean, it's been forever.
Wow.
That seems like
Might
a
have been 2006. But
harsh reality to introduce high school students to.
yeah, and
It's
for
like, you're losing and we're leaving.
but for their
I mean,
their community there in Mason, they're just not used to losing at home at all, and that was the thing. But I think you have to stick with your team no matter what. If
Right.
you're gonna go to the game and you're there to support the kids, be there to support the kids even when they lose.
They're your
so
kids.
yeah.
And I think that is, with how serious Texas is about high school football, I think people have a tendency to forget that they're still children.
yeah, they're
Yes.
still under 18. Mhm.
All right. Number 4. Farrington Field in Fort Worth.
I've been there.
18,500. That's a big
Yeah,
field.
it is.
I
It's a
wanna say
big
I've been
stadium.
there.
Yeah.
Owned by the Fort Worth Independent School District and opened in 1939, Farrington Field is one of Texas's largest and oldest operating school football stadiums in the state. The stadium is shared by several high schools in the area. Wow,
Yeah.
they didn't do much research on this one.
No, I didn't go to. I wasn't in the Fort Worth ISD. I went to the Birdville ISD. So, but yeah, Fort Worth Farrington Field's a big stadium. Just even drive by. So,
Really? Well, see, and it's got the same capacity as, I guess, capacities that I would start to expect in larger cities, like number 3, Alamo Stadium in San Antonio, also 18,500.
That's a very scary stadium
Really?
when you're standing on the field, yes.
Why?
Because it's so big.
Oh,
like,
okay.
if you're standing in the middle of that field, and you go to look up, even with no one in the stadium, it's just very,
Very large.
yeah, it's going to come and eat you.
Well, like I was saying, our football team. I was in the band. I was a drum major. So, but
Yeah.
my junior year, when we went to the playoffs, we did play at Texas Stadium, not AT&T,
Oh.
but the old Texas Stadium in Irving, and marching in that stadium,
Oh, yeah.
which is a professional football stadium. It was the Cowboys played there,
Yeah.
but it was huge. So I understand what you're saying. When you're down the field and you're looking up, I mean, even in these high school stadiums like this, the Alamo Stadium is huge.
Oh, yeah.
And for those players, when you get all the people in the stands and
Right.
everything
Watching
else,
you.
it's
Right.
pretty impressive.
I
So,
bet it is. I mean, these are
Yeah.
large structures.
mm-hmm.
Alamo Stadium is home to 8 high schools in the San Antonio Independent School District, which accounts for its oversized seating capacity. Dubbed the Rock Pile by locals for its limestone construction, the stadium underwent massive renovations in 2011. I think that might be why they call it the Rock Pile, which reduced its seating capacity, thereby unseating it as Texas's largest high school football stadium.
So it's where on the list now? It dropped to what after that?
Number
To
3.
All right.
Oof.
We got 2 more.
Wow.
2 big ones coming.
Oh,
Memorial Stadium in Mesquite, 20,000.
wow.
That is 1/5 of our city.
Yeah, I know. You think about that. A fifth of San Angelo can go hang out there.
Although almost 1/5 of San Angelo can go hang out at San Angelo Stadium.
True. Which they do, usually
Yeah.
on a Friday night.
Another monolithic stadium in Texas is Memorial Stadium in Mesquite. The Dallas suburb shares the jumbo field between all 5 of the high schools in Mesquite. The stadium has been in operation since 1976 and is often used as a neutral location to host state playoff games due to its size.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the case because you obviously want to sell a lot of tickets in the playoffs. So,
Right.
I mean, and neutral, you're always looking for that neutral site to go to play that's
Yeah.
between wherever and wherever, whoever's
Yeah.
still in the playoffs at that time. So that is a huge stadium. Mesquite.
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah. What I always wonder, like with San Angelo Stadium, the great thing about it is the parking is not that bad. I mean, you have
It's-
2 huge parking lots
Yeah.
at San
Right.
Angelo Stadium for the
Right.
visitors or the home side. Some of the stadiums we travel to, we get there and the home side has a lot of great parking. You go to the visitor side and you're like,
Where
there's
is
like
it?
10 spots over here. How are we supposed to get the central band in? The buses are going to
That's
take,
funny.
Yeah.
the whole section.
I mean, it's funny. Our stadium the parking lot itself is big enough to host Touch a Truck,
Oh, yeah.
where,
Yes.
where trucks from all over the place.
Which is a great event that our Junior League of San Angelo puts on every year. So
It's actually, Shelby, you were...
I was in it. My volunteer unit, Quill Valley, we
Oh.
went and did it before I started this job, and I took pictures there and everything. And I actually saw Jeff there, and I was like,
Ah.
"Oh, look, the news is here!" And then a couple of weeks later, here I was, and
Hey.
he was teaching me how to do my job. So.
shout out to my friend Susan. She just joined us.
Hey,
So-
Susan. All right, we've got one more stadium.
Okay.
Toyota Stadium in Frisco, 20,500.
Which I don't think is fair, and I'll tell you why. Because Toyota Stadium is the home to FC Dallas, the
Oh,
MLS soccer team.
Oh, okay.
yeah, I was just
Now
looking
there
at the
are
markings on it.
obviously there's a lot of Frisco teams that play in. I mean that's where they play now. They use
Right.
that stadium because Frisco blew up that whole area
Yeah.
in the Metroplex. It was just kind of a outlying, like if Wall all of a sudden just turned into this huge metropolis.
Right.
That's kind of how Frisco did. It was
Yeah.
it was an outlying area, and then it blew up, and FC Dallas was put out there because I used to go to those FC Dallas soccer games, and Toyota Stadium was kind of out in a field.
Right.
I mean, just
all-
outside
all
of
by
Frisco
itself.
is by itself, and then I think they just saw they projected how big Frisco was going to get, and it did very quickly. And I think there's 3 different Frisco high school schools now,
right?
And some of them play at the Star, which is the Dallas Cowboys practice facility. So they share FC Dallas Stadium and the Star at Frisco, which is where the Cowboys ended up moving their deal. So
I can't imagine having a sort of high school experience where you're like, well, we just practice at the
we play at the MLS team stadium in our city.
Just nonchalantly, they're like, I played on that field too.
Though Toyota Stadium was built primarily as a professional soccer field, its use as the football stadium for Frisco High School gets it admission to this list. The stadium opened in 2005 and was the home field of FC Dallas, the professional soccer team in Dallas. During football season, Toyota Stadium hosts the football games of Frisco Independent School District's 7 high school teams.
And that's why, because they have 7, so now it's one of those things that they kind of trade out. So they use the Star in Frisco for some of those games because they're on Friday nights at the same time. So obviously not all 7 of those teams are playing at home. Some of them are playing away, but they got to have 2 facilities. So sometimes they'll play on a Thursday and a Friday at Toyota Stadium while someone's playing at the Star Thursday and Friday. And the other 3 are on the road. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't take part in much football when I was in high school. I was a speech and theater, and we were.
It makes sense.
It couldn't be further removed from football. Like band gets to go.
Yeah.
With the football team.
Games.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
To everything. I mean, one time we went to a practice because we needed to use the field while they were done with it.
Yeah.
So we ended up watching the whole practice and then using the field afterwards.
Now, let me ask you this. Did your band director yell at you the way the high school football coaches yelled at the players?
So my band director...
Yes, he did. Because I remember your band director.
Mr. Ashbrook. He was great. I mean, it was really a love-hate relationship between everybody with him. And I was actually, when I moved, I didn't partake in band after I moved because Central was home. We went to state. Granted, we didn't do great, but we still went. So that was the best thing that had ever happened.
Mr. Ashbrook, even though he left us this year, he I guess retired and got out.
Yeah.
And there's a new band director at Central, which I haven't met yet. So I'm
really
excited
nice.
to see. I'm hoping to meet him soon. But, it was great because Mr. Ashbrook reminded me a lot of Mr. King, who was our band director when I was at Haltom High School.
Right.
Which is crazy, too, because Central has moved into the district that I played in as a high school. Because I went to Haltom High School, and so Haltom and LD Bell and Trinity and Richland, all these teams that we're playing now and broadcasting against, I'm like, I know this whole district. So it kind of helped me in the broadcast whenever they said that. I was like, oh, well, that's great. I can talk about these teams and these stadiums and everything else.
Yeah.
So, because I've been to all of them, it seems like.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing this year for Central. We play my alma mater, Haltom, the last game of the season, but we will play at the old Birdville Stadium, which now Birdville ISD has a huge stadium as well that they built kind of in the Keller-Watauga area for their high schools. They have 3 now with Richland, Haltom, and then Birdville High School is a smaller. It's a 5A, I believe, 5 or 4A, but they share that stadium. But most of the time, Haltom will use Old Birdville Stadium to play in, which is where we marched and played when I was in high school. So that's going to be a homecoming for me at the end of this season to be at that stadium once again.
Well, you know where to find David if we can't.
Right, no kidding. So when's the next big home game happening here?
Lakeview and Lamesa play here tonight.
Yeah.
So they're kicking off over at St. Angelo Stadium. Central will be back home next weekend.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'll be out of town for that because I'm going to my RTDNA, Radio Television Digital News Association board meetings in San Antonio. I'll be gone next week, the Wednesday through Sunday for that, so I won't be on the broadcast next Friday night, unfortunately. But we'll be there for that Excellence in Journalism Conference and our board meetings in San Antonio next week. So
Hey, that sounds really cool.
yeah, should be a good time.
I will have to make a game.
You will. You'll have to come out and
Yeah.
see it just so you can see all 17,500 people inside the stadium.
With the first game, it might just get there.
Yeah, because usually early on in the season, people show up. I mean,
And then-
even when it's hot.
Yeah.
So.
And then
I mean-
middle of the season kind of, from what I remember, was it kind of died down and then like when it got playoffs.
It depends. Yeah, and it depends on how the team's doing. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that is
Sure.
with most sporting. There's your diehard fans that are always going to go, and then
Right.
there's
The
there
parents.
that keep showing up,
Even when the
because
team's
teams
doing
are
badly.
winning, or those people are always
Right.
there. But then if the team's doing well, more people
Well-
kind of talk
Yeah.
about it and they show up just to experience it. I think.
I'm sure it's really difficult when you love the team and they're not doing so well. It just, I don't want to watch them continue to lose.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
called the Dallas Cowboys fan. Oh, since about '95.
What, every
Wow.
20 years.
After the
It's
Super Bowl.
roughly every 20 years.
Hmm.
20, 25 years they get to do well.
That's why I
again.
hate Patriots fans. So,
All right, that's it for us
Wow.
today.
all right, I'm
Alright.
headed to Killeen.
Nice.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
going home.
Yeah,
Going
'cause
home.
you've got to come back and do Friday Night Football later.
Yes.
I'm going to put stuff on the website.
That a boy.
Yeah.
All right.
Cody Brown will be next week. He'll be back.
That's right. We're coming back
Mhm.
Monday. Cody Brown's going to be back.
Have a safe Labor Day weekend, everyone.
Yeah.
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 All right. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. You do that. That was fun.